I feel like I've been sleepwalking through my life, I admitted, my fingers tracing the line of Adrian's jaw. Until tonight, until you. Then stay awake with me, Adrian said, capturing my hand and pressing a kiss to my palm. Stay present for whatever this becomes. Time seemed to slow as we explored this new territory together. Every moment stretched and savored like fine wine on the tongue. Adrian's touch was both gentle and commanding, guiding me deeper into sensation than I'd ever experienced. We spoke in whispers and sighs, in the language of fingertips against skin and breath against bare shoulders. Adrian worshipped me with a patience that made me feel precious, cherished, as if I were a rare manuscript they were afraid of damaging with too eager handling. Tell me what you feel, Adrian murmured, their lips tracing a path along my collarbone. Everything, I gasped, my back arching as their touch sent sparks along my nerves. I feel like I'm dissolving and coming together at the same time. Good, Adrian said, lifting their head to meet my eyes. That's what happens when we stop pretending to be someone we're not. The candlelight painted golden highlights across Adrian's features, making them appear almost ethereal. I reached up to trace the line of their cheekbone, marveling at the softness of their skin. I've never felt anything like this, I confessed. Nor have I, Adrian replied, their voice rough with emotion. I thought I knew what intimacy meant, but this is something else entirely. We moved together with increasing urgency, yet never losing the tenderness that made every touch feel sacred. Adrian seemed to know my body better than I knew it myself, finding places that made me gasp and tremble, drawing responses from me that I didn't know I was capable of giving. When the waves of sensation finally crested and broke, I felt as though I was experiencing my first real breath after a lifetime of holding it. Adrian held me as I shuddered in their arms, whispering words of wonder and gratitude against my hair. In the aftermath, we lay entwined on the velvet chaise, our breathing gradually returning to normal. The storm outside had gentled to a soft patter against the windows, as if even nature was respecting the intimacy of our sanctuary. Adrian traced lazy patterns on my bare shoulder, their touch now soothing rather than igniting. What are you thinking? They asked softly. That I understand now why you called this the velvet room, I said, nuzzling closer to their warmth. It's not just the fabric. Everything here is soft, luxurious, meant to be savored, including you, Adrian murmured, pressing a kiss to the top of my head. We lay in comfortable silence, watching the candles burn lower in their holders. Shadows danced across the velvet-draped walls, creating an ever-changing tapestry of light and darkness. Will you tell me about yourself? I asked eventually. Really tell me, not just the surface things. Adrian was quiet for so long that I wondered if they'd fallen asleep. When they finally spoke, their voice carried a vulnerability that I hadn't heard before. I collect moments like this, they said. Beautiful, honest moments between souls that recognize each other. This house, this room, they're my gallery for preserving such treasures. And am I a treasure to be preserved? You're more than that, Adrian said, turning to face me fully. You're a masterpiece that I'm still discovering. Each time I think I've seen all of you, you reveal another layer, another facet that takes my breath away. I felt tears prick at my eyes, overwhelmed by the sincerity in Adrian's voice. I don't want this to end, I whispered. Then don't let it, Adrian said simply. Stay, not just for tonight, but for as long as you need to remember who you really are. And who am I? Adrian's smile was soft and knowing. Someone capable of extraordinary love, extraordinary passion, extraordinary joy. Someone who deserves to be cherished exactly as they are. As if summoned by our words, a grandfather clock somewhere in the house chimed midnight. The sound seemed to mark not an ending, but a beginning, the birth of a new version of myself that I was only beginning to understand. The storm is ending, I observed, noticing that the rain had stopped entirely. Some storms end, Adrian agreed, pulling a soft throw over us both. Others transform into something entirely different. I settled more deeply into Adrian's embrace, feeling safe and cherished in a way that was completely new to me. The velvet room held us in its crimson embrace, a cocoon where time moved differently and truth lived in every whispered word. Thank you, I murmured against Adrian's chest. For what? For seeing me, for helping me see myself. Adrian's arms tightened around me, a silent promise that this was only the beginning of our journey together. Outside, the first pale hints of dawn were beginning to touch the horizon, but in our velvet sanctuary, it felt as though we could make this moment last forever. As I drifted towards sleep, I could still hear the whispered echoes of all we'd shared, feel the phantom touch of Adrian's hands on my skin. Tomorrow would bring questions and decisions, but tonight had given me something infinitely more valuable, the knowledge that I was capable of connection deeper than I'd ever imagined. The velvet room kept its secrets, but it had also revealed the most important truth of all, that love, in all its forms, was the most beautiful mystery of all. In my dreams that night, I danced again with Adrian in rooms made of starlight and promises, knowing that whatever came next, I would never again settle for anything less than this profound, transformative connection we'd discovered together. I woke to sunlight filtering through heavy curtains, painting the velvet room in shades of gold and amber. For a moment, I wondered if the entire evening had been an elaborate dream, but then I felt Adrian's arm still draped across my waist, and I knew that the magic had been real. "Good morning," Adrian murmured, their voice husky with sleep. "Is it still good if we never actually went to sleep?" I asked, smiling as I turned to face them. "Especially then," Adrian replied, pressing a gentle kiss to my forehead. We lay together in the peaceful aftermath of the storm, both the one outside and the one that had raged between us. The velvet room looked different in the daylight, less mysterious, perhaps, but no less beautiful. If anything, seeing it clearly made me appreciate even more the sanctuary it had provided. "What happens now?" I asked, a question that encompassed so much more than just the morning's logistics. Adrian's smile was warm and reassuring. "Now we see what blooms in the garden we planted last night. But first," they said, rising gracefully from the chaise, "breakfast. Real magic requires proper nourishment." As I watched Adrian move around the room, gathering our scattered clothes with unhurried elegance, I realized that something fundamental had shifted inside me. The person who had arrived at Ashwood Manor in the storm was not the same one preparing to face the morning light. The velvet room had given me more than passion, more than pleasure. It had given me back to myself and shown me what it meant to be truly seen, truly cherished, truly alive. Outside, the world was washing itself clean in the aftermath of the storm, and I was ready to step into it as the person I discovered I could be. But first, There would be breakfast with Adrian, and coffee, and conversations that built on the foundation we'd laid in whispers and touches. The Velvet Room would always be here, I realized, not just as a physical place, but as a memory, a reminder of what was possible when we allowed ourselves to be vulnerable, to be real, to be entirely, magnificently human. And perhaps that was the greatest treasure of all. As our story draws to a close, and the last echoes of whispered promises fade into the velvet darkness, I hope you too have found something beautiful in this sanctuary we've shared together. Perhaps you've discovered that the most profound connections often come when we're brave enough to step into the unknown, to answer mysterious invitations written on our hearts. Let the memory of the Velvet Room linger with you as you drift into your own dreams tonight. May your sleep be filled with the same sense of wonder, the same gentle awakening to all the beautiful possibilities that await when we choose authenticity over safety, connection over solitude. Thank you for joining me in this intimate journey. If tonight's story stirred something within you, a longing for deeper connection, a whisper of your own hidden desires, then subscribe to Velvet Night Binge, where every night brings a new story, a new sanctuary for the heart and soul. Sweet dreams, beautiful souls. Tomorrow night, another door will open, another whispered invitation will find its way to you. Until then, may you carry with you the knowing that you too deserve to be seen, to be cherished, to be loved exactly as you are. Sleep well and let the velvet darkness hold you gently until we meet again.